structure manifests itself with trade guilds. That means he is saying that there are some market system where trade took place. That means someone is producing agricultural products, they are known as the peasants, and they are selling it in a market. So a trade occurs. That means exchange of commodity occurs. To make that understand, he uses the concept CMC and MCM. Commodity, money, commodity, and money, commodity, money. Commodity, money, commodity, CMC, that means I have produced some good. I went to the market to sell that because I need some other things. So I sell that or I exchange that with money. And someone need that product. So he will also pay for that. So definitely money is the intermediary of exchange, medium of exchange. That is called as CMC. Producer sells his commodity in the exchange of money, where in the market. And the needy person who needs that product comes to the market to buy that commodity with the exchange of money. So Marx argued this is the system called CMC, commodity, money, commodity. On the other hand, there is another concept that is called as MCM, that is also given by Marx. He argued, I have money, but I am not producing anything. So how can I fulfill my needs? To fulfill my needs, I went to the market to buy a product. And who has produced that product? Someone. So I, in exchange of my money, bought that product. And that fellow who has sold that will get the exchange value, that is money. So money, commodity, and money. First it was commodity, money, commodity, then money, commodity, money. So he is arguing this is called the trade system. And those who are in the middle, those who are in the power of controlling the market, they are known as the guilds. So he argued the small scale and primitive cultivation of land and the craft type of industry occurred and exploitation of labor started. Then he shifted to the modern form, that is capitalism. Because of eventual growth of commerce, that means I told you the trading system where human population also increases and demand for production also increases, so also demand for commodity. So here he argued that in capitalist system, what happens? There is a system where you have to produce a product and you have to get some surplus value, and a minimum of that surplus value you have to present before the monarchy or the king and the church. He argued because they are presenting to the king or the church, so king and the church in return are fulfilling the traders' demand. And as usual, they are forming policies that hampers the customer. So he is arguing this is called as the capitalist system, where the mood for earning more and more occurs. Private property is there. Those who don't have anything, they are placed in the lower category of the society. And also, when this concept of surplus value comes to mind, what you will find? The commodification of the laborer. That means the laborer is unaware about his labor, how much he has spent. Rather, he was misguided that because of your labor, you are paying the wage. You are paid with the wage. So the labor happens to be in an illusion. So capitalist system argued that the labor is always torture because of this concept of surplus value. Surplus value, Marx argued, where the actual production, cost of production, plus the labor power or commodification of the labor is calculated together, and the selling price of that commodity is different. Selling price of the commodity is higher than the before two. Because earlier I have talked about the commodity's actual price plus wage of the labor. But how that surplus value comes into existence? Not because we are selling that product in a higher rate, but because my laborers, that means the entrepreneur's laborer, is working hard to produce that product. That means the laborer is unaware about that. That laborer is not conscious that he is working harder than the need of the product. That benefits the master or the bourgeoisie or the entrepreneur. So laborer is commodified. This is the system of capitalism where the relation of production happens around the torture of the labor. So now he is arguing how that happens. He is talking about a logic that is known as dialectical logic. What is that dialectical logic? It is argued that capitalism is a real and concrete system, but in reality, it is also a part of the more complex system. So Marx argued that what we are saying capitalism is not a very concrete or real concept, but it is an abstraction. We are trying to categorize that this is capitalist system, but capitalist system not necessarily include those commodity and benefit or surplus value. Rather, it includes more than that, the social relation among the entrepreneur and the laborer. So this is called as the dialectical logic. Then comes, what are the characteristics of capitalist system? How can we understand what is a capitalist economy? We need to understand its various features. What are the features or characteristics? The first one is called capitalist production. That means separation of the producer from his means of production. Here producer stands for the laborer or the wage laborer. So in the process of capitalist system, first you will mark that the laborer is detached from his product. Okay? In the last part, we will talk about the alienation. There I will clarify this one. Then comes the concentration of means of production in the hands of few. Those are known as the bourgeoisie. That means those who have the raw materials, those who have capital, those who have industries. Then comes formation of another class who has no means of subsistence other than the sale of its labor power. That means the laborer is selling his service, nothing else. He has nothing. Rather, he is commodifying himself. He is rendering his service. In exchange of that service, he is getting wage. But that wage is not the actual price of his labor. That is called as commodification of labor. Then, the second characteristic that comes to our mind is expansion of market and production. What is that? In expansion of market and product, expansion of market and products means according to the demand of the people, the entrepreneurs are producing those things by which they will earn more. But the producer or the wage laborer is not at all satisfied with that because he is detaching from that product. He is forced to produce, not at his will he is producing. Okay, so market means there is a demand and there is a supply. So market is the relationship between demand and supply for products, goods or commodity. Then comes another characteristics of capitalist system, that is monopoly and imperialism. What is that? That few companies or group control the whole market. They lower the quality of the product instead of increasing to achieve higher profit. That means, as they are seeing that there is demand for a particular product, they are forcing the laborer to produce that product and to deteriorate the quality. That means they want to earn more and more out of the product. So if they will deteriorate the cost of production, quality of the product, then definitely they will earn more. Those are known as the monopolites, or they are called as the they are the stakeholder of a monopoly market. They control each and everything. According to their product, they are influencing the customer. On the other hand, customers' demand increases and the quality of production decreases. Let's understand through an example. For example, earlier in our child days, we used to wear kajal made out of herbal products. But now, what happened? You have various advertisements everywhere in the print media and the visual media that there are some reputed companies like L18, Libas, and all those things. They are producing kajals. So what you will find? They are showing that in such a manner in an advertisement that this is the Ghana kajal. That means it is the darkest kajal. That advertisement played by Karina Kapoor. She is saying this is the darkest kajal ever, and that lasts for hours. So what you will be as a customer, you will be influenced by that advertisement. And definitely, instead of herbal products, you are demanding that because that looks like something glittering, that looks like something attractive. So you are influenced. So who has created that? This is the companies. They are trying to control your demand. So this is called as monopoly. They are specified in such a manner that they will influence you. In return, you will demand for that particular product. So monopoly is this. And there is competition in the market. So as a result of that competition, some other companies will also produce the same thing. So in competition, what will happen? The price of the product will come. What the customer thinks, they are getting benefit, but in return, what they are finding, the quality of the product is determined. So this is called as the characteristics of capitalist system or typical characteristics of capitalistic economy. Then now let's move how the work used to take place in an organization. So first, the concept that comes to our mind is rationality or rationalization or rationality. In sociology, rationalization is the replacement of tradition, values, and emotion as motivators for behavior in society with the concept based on rationality and reasoning. Rationality means logic or science and the reasoning. So what happens? Tradition is replaced by science and logic. So Marx and Engels associated the emergence of modern society with the development of capitalism. They are arguing capitalism means rationalization. There is competition. There is modes of production. There is a relation. Someone is in the top and the other one is in the lowest part. And they have the relation of master and slave. So it is a rationalistic system. Those who are in the top, they are exercising their power, and those who are in the lower, they are forced to obey the power. For Durkheim, it was connected in particular with industrialization and the new social division of labor. What he is arguing? He is arguing in the earlier society or in the traditional society, there were no division of labor or little division of labor because all are self-sufficient. Once someone is asking me, why are you sir doing all those things? You are also engaged in teaching. You are also doing repairing of vehicles. You are also engaged in electrification of houses. What is this? So I told him that I am quite capable from Chandigarh to Jotasini. In Odia, it is a typical proverb. That means I am master of all. So this was the system in traditional society. But what is the present society? No one is capable to do all things alone. by themselves only. Rather, for a product, they are depending upon others. So dependency increases. Because of that dependency, there occurs division of labor. So what Weber is arguing, he is arguing from Sammat's view that it is the religious nature of a particular society that encourages the motivation for capital, and that religious system he talked about is Calvinism in his Protestant ethic and Spirit of Capitalism book. He is arguing. We will also discuss about this in later, but till now, just keep it in mind. He is arguing that some religious thinking or ethos are responsible for the promotion of capitalism. He argued West is capitalistic in nature because of Calvinism. That means they think karma hi jivana, to what is to service to God. So God has gifted you to work hard, not to enjoy the world. So now the concept occurs. What are the theories of this organization? What is an organization? Organization, as you have already learned in your graduation, that it is a union of some people, more than two people. They have a particular aim and they try to fulfill that aim. But here, what David Silverman is arguing, he is arguing organization arrived at an ascertainable moment in time. Ascertainable moment means what he is saying? He is saying that organization is the need of the people, that as they can't do anything alone, hence they need others' help. And this need for help forces them to make an agreement with fellow members, and they come together to form an unity that is known as organization. So it refers to a pattern of social relationship which are less taken for granted. That means no one is talking about what type of relationship is there. Rather, everyone is thinking that my needs should be fulfilled through this organization. They are not talking about what should be the relationship with fellow members, but everyone is thinking of his own profit. So again, he is arguing that considerable attention is paid to the nature of this social relation and to plan change in them. There is a need that we have to understand what type of relation is existing there and how can we modify that relation to survive that organization. So this is the viewpoint of David Silverman. So let's understand other types of approaches or theories attached to organization. First theory or first approach that comes to the organization or related to organization is typology of organization. That means this approach is saying how we can classify organization on the basis of benefits and how they are operating, and on the second, how compliance from their members. That means what type of relationship exists between the members. So this typology of organization talks about how people are getting benefited out of the organization in the one hand, and in the second part, on the other hand, they are trying to understand the relationship, earlier relationship that used to be there and how changes occur to that relationship. Then comes another approach, that is organization as a social system. Social system means it is very much related to the society. Therefore, each system interact with other system. Earlier models, we told about the system. What is the system? The society. And what are its parts? All the social animals, traditions, customs, rules, regulations, all those things. Here, this type of approach is arguing that how one system is interacting with other system, how a society is interacting with other system or other society. But here, as we are dealing with organization, this approach argues how one organization is interacting with other organization. because organization originates from the society itself. Then now, another approach that comes to our mind is the empirically contingent structure. Empirically contingent structure that deals with empirical contingent structure. That means specialization of task and centralization of authority. That means who is the chairman of that organization? Who is the authority, supreme authority of that organization? How he has circulated the duties among the members. Then comes size, technology, and location of enterprises, where the organization took place, how many members were there, how they are promoting their organization, all those things. And then comes organization as a structure of action, why they are forming that organization, what is their aim, how they help the people, or how they are helping the members of the same organization. This is called a structure of action. Then comes determining the action of individual in organization. Those members, what is their duties, how they will do, how they can contribute to the smooth functioning and making famous of that organization. So determining the action of individual in organization. Then comes how motivated people attempt to resolve their own problem. That means being a member of that organization, I have certain needs, and how I am trying to fulfill my needs out of the social responsibility. These are the notions or approaches related to organization. So now let's understand how working is taking place inside the organization. So let's try to understand work and organization. So what is work? Doing something. Work means we are doing something. Whether it is intentional or not, that depends upon others. But we are engaging physically. But sociologists try to study the ways of doing work, how work is organized and governed. But in general language or in etymological sense, we are saying I am doing something physically, that means I am engaged in work. But sociologically, when we are speaking, we definitely think about the social relation. So, how work is organized and governed, as well as evaluated and awarded. How you are receiving an award, how the NSS workers are receiving President's Award, how someone is getting reward from the government or the Nobel Prize and other foreign authorities because of their work. For example, talking about Kailash Satyarthi, why he is famous, why he has received that Nobel Prize, because of his work for the children. So sociology studies why he is working for the children and what type of duties he is doing for the children, what is his responsibility for making awareness among the people about the children, all those things. So in sociology, we study the relationship around work, how work is organized and governed. Now comes to the second point, that how work and economic organizations are related to social inequalities. When we talk about capitalism, definitely there will be the influence of economic organizations. So we have to understand how this work happens to be there in a capitalist organization. For example, talking about an industry, we have to find how work happens to be there, how the division of labor took place, or how people are related in the industry, who is the supreme authority, who is supervising, who is producing, and what type of relationship exists in between them. This is when we try to understand economic organization. So the main themes that comes to our mind while we try to understand work, those are division of labor, bureaucratic organization. Bureaucratic organization means it is borrowed from Weberian thinking. He argued because of skill, education, someone is placed in the top and others used to follow them according to the hierarchy. So happens to the industry. Then comes democracy, how society works. Do the laborers have their own rights? If the entrepreneur is not treating, how they can oppose them, how they can bring about any revolution. All those things comes under this socialism. Socialism means how they are making conscious about themselves as well as their fellow workers. So these are the concepts that comes to our mind while understanding work in an organization. So now comes the entrepreneurs. What is an entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurship includes a part of administration and its function in decision-making process for regulating some type of organization. So there are three parts. Entrepreneur means an organization or an individual who are engaged. That means they are engaged in policy making. And for whom they are engaged? For a larger organization. So entrepreneurship includes a part of administration and its function in decision-making process for regulating some type of organization. Sometimes it is attached to the part that deals with strategic and innovative decision. That means entrepreneurship means not businessmen, rather it means those who are engaged in policy making or bringing about new technology for the benefit of an industry. Sometimes it is attached to designate a business organization. Entrepreneurship. For example, when we talk about Ambani's, Ambani has various business streams. They are known as the entrepreneurs. They are holding those organizations. In French language, it means to do something. Entrepreneurship means to do something. So in sociology, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we try to understand the duties attached to a person. What is the entrepreneurship of a student? The entrepreneurship of a student is to learn, is to question, is to fulfill his ambition, is to be a good fellow in the society. So entrepreneurship is something larger than a business organization. So what are the theories of entrepreneurship? Theories of entrepreneurship is given by Schumpter. Schumpter argues entrepreneur is merely a manager in the circulation flow of economic development. That means he is arguing that in the process of economic development, some person is included and he is managing that industry or the process of production, and he is known as the entrepreneur. But he is saying again that that manager post is not static, it is a dynamic one. Earlier you used to be a manager in a factory, but now you might have promoted or demoted. So it is not static. Then he argues these individuals control the economy because they are responsible for delivering innovations and technology. That means the duty of a manager is to bring about certain type of innovations and technology so that the economic organization can progress. So duty is attached to the manager. Then comes entrepreneur innovation and experimentation constantly destroy the old and introduce new equilibria. That means because of innovations, changes or development in innovations, earlier innovated things were replaced with new ones. So also happened to the person engaged in the process of that production. For example, first you had steam engine, now you have tractor. So what happened? In the process of production, steam engine replaced by tractor, that is diesel engine. So he is arguing, Schumpter is arguing that those who had expertise in steam engine, they were replaced because of the advent of diesel engine. So he is saying entrepreneurial innovation and experimentation constantly destroy the old and introduce the new equilibria. So innovation along with knowledge are the main catalyst of successful entrepreneurship. So who will be a successful entrepreneurship? Those who have new technology, new innovations, new knowledge. Hence, you have seen that how these Adani's Tatas, Birlas, and Ambanis dominated the Indian society and the South Indian countries. So the concept of innovation and its control or controllary development embraces 5 functions. What are the functions of innovation? Introduction of new good, introduction of new method of production, opening of a new market, conquest of a new source, supply of raw materials, carrying out of new organization for any industry. So now after Stumter, there is Maxwell. He is arguing that religion plays a very important role in the process or development of entrepreneurship. He is arguing those religions who are progressive or those religious ethos which promoted or influenced the feeling of the people to earn more. So he is talking about Calvinism. He distinguishes it with Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam, and found that Hinduism and Buddhism, they lack the intuition for capital because they think that karma is very important and presently what they are doing is very important. They don't think about the future. And what is about Islam? It focuses on after death reward. That means if you will do good or if you will fight for Islam, then definitely after that you will